A tabletop robot. What did you find out about it?
Well, this is, let's just take a step back here first. It's really been a while since Apple has done something, you know, amazing, something wholly new, right? I mean, obviously we know the history. We know about the Mac, the iPod, the iPhone, the iPad. Then there was the Apple Watch in 2015. And since then, they've sort of dabbled in new areas. The AirPods, they're a hit, right, for an earbud, but they're not a life changer, so to speak, for Apple's business. They've done the HomePod, which was like their home speaker. They still sell that. It's a commercial dud compared to their other products. Don't get me started on the Vision Pro. I was using,
Wait, you're on a roll.
I was using mine last night. This thing is absolutely mind-blowingly amazing, right? But at $4,000 all in, they're not going to sell many of them. And so they've basically run out of these product categories that is going to generate enough revenue to be a real new business, right? And then they canceled the big one that could have actually changed the company perhaps as much as the iPhone changed them, and that was the self-driving car. I think the cancellation in the self-driving cars and what led to that is going to go down as a business failure like no other, looking back, you know, 10 years from now, unless they reboot that project. Anyways, they've landed on this home device. They're all in on robotics right now. Robotics is the next big thing at Apple. They're talking about humanoids. They're talking about mobile robots to go around your home. Now they're talking about this home device. It's a robotic neck connected to an iPad. It can swivel 360 degrees, bend, move up and down, move around on top of a table or a desk. Video conferencing.
Okay.
But it's essentially your first Apple Intelligence device. It's a AI-ified iPad, a fully voice-controlled system that can move around on your table. It's going to be pretty niche, but it's also going to be pretty cool, like the Vision Pro.
It sounds, Mark, like you're describing the Facebook portal, which is no longer sold, and you do mention in your story. Is this meant for video conferencing in the sense of just being able to FaceTime with somebody while you're, you know, doing the dishes, so you don't have to hold your phone and you can move around a little bit?
Well, it's going to do that, but I'm describing a Facebook portal or an Amazon Echo Show that's probably 3 or 4 times the price of those devices. But the robotic arm is going to be extraordinarily advanced, and it's going to use artificial intelligence and machine learning to understand your environment, understand who's talking. So let's say we're having this conversation over that device, and you actually have that device in front of you. Maybe I'm on my phone or my Mac, and I nod my head or move it side to side. The display on that device will actually move around and shift to match my head movements. Let's say Carol starts talking to me. That screen will understand that it's Carol talking and turn to face her. So I could see her instead of you, Tim, right? And so it's going to have these pretty cool features that use AI, that use contextual information, that use the camera, that use the robotic arm. And again, having a robotic arm to control and move around this device, that's really expensive and advanced technology, and probably would set the framework and the foundation for future robotics devices from Apple. They really see robotics as where the industry is moving, and really the hardware application of AI. But in order to get there, they really have to get their AI software and infrastructure up to snuff. And I think this is all going to time out together, right? I think we're about 3 years away from Apple's AI efforts really hitting their stride. And I think we're 3 years away from AI hardware at Apple, and I think it'll all mix and match together at the right time for them.
My family needs this as we shift around the phone when we're like, you know, propped up on a table and having a conversation. It's like, where are you? Can you move it? Having said that, what would something like this cost? Do we even know, or it's just too early?
Well, you know, Apple, when they're manufacturing a product or they're developing and designing a product, they come up with a price point that they want to hit, and they really think about that price point from the get-go. But it takes a lot of time to actually get down to that price, right? Just like when they start building a prototype of something, it could be the size of a table, but they needed to get it to the size of something that can sit on your wrist, right? So it's going to take time to get to the price point they want to achieve, which is around $1,000. So if they were to start producing this product today, would probably cost twice or 3 times that. But by the time they bring it to market, they want to get it down to about $1,000, which is interesting because they've not always been able to hit their price targets, right?
Yeah.
Like, let me give you one example. The iPad, when they developed that device, they wanted to shoot for $500. They got it out at $500. When they developed the iPhone 10, they wanted to get it around $1,000. They got it out at $1,000. The Vision Pro, they wanted to get it out about $3,000, right? Ended up coming in at $3,500 at the base. So let's see what they do here. Quite frankly, I think $1,000 is too much for this device. But you know, we're entering a time at Apple where they're not coming out with these mass consumer new hit products anymore. We're talking about a bevy of sort of these high-priced niche products, and I think you put them all together, you come out with enough devices, you're going to drive that revenue. But I'm not seeing anything that's, you know, effectively a game changer. There are a few other sort of, if you read through the end of the story, there are a few other things there that I think could be needle movers. I talk about 2 of them with detail. One is this gigantic iPad with about a 21-inch screen. That's a foldable iPad. I think that's going to be really cool. And then when that hits the market, when that hits the market, that's going to be the coolest thing Apple has done in a decade. That's going to be really expensive too. I would expect that to be between $2,000 and $3,000. So, you know what? Price aside, this is cool technology, and you know, us tech fans should get excited about it. The other thing they're exploring, we don't know yet if this is actually going to come to market, are glasses. Not AR glasses that we've been talking about, but non-AR smart glasses that replicate many of the features of AirPods. These would be almost the same as the Amazon Echo frames that were updated a couple of years ago, but more importantly, similar to the Meta smart glasses they've done with Ray-Ban over the past few years. Meta has said over and over again, those are really popular. And even Mark Zuckerberg said on their earnings call recently, we simply can't make enough. And so, you know, that's a popular category right now, and maybe something that Apple could to get into as well. Not sure what they would bring unique to the space, but certainly there's a lot of people that would pay a couple $100 for Apple branded glasses or sunglasses.